So, a couple of days ago, Greenpeace decided to invade Rishi Sunak's private property to do a publicity stunt. And I'm not going to show that. Some of you might have already seen it. It was a classic left-wing green movement to go into people's private properties. It wasn't Downing Street, it was his private home, right, in Yorkshire. And then GB News decided to do the same thing by invading their offices. They sent one of the reporters to go in without being invited to see their reaction. I'm going to show you the clip. Some of you might have already seen it, but this video is not about this clip. This video, I'm going to go through Greenpeace and all the dodgy things they've done in the past and until now. It's going to be important. Facts matter. Let's go to GB News.
Can you tell them we just want to know why they think it's acceptable to invade a Prime Minister's private home? I'm Ben from GB News.
GB News, thank you.
Is Will or Ariba here? Not really. I'm looking for Will or Ariba or whoever's idea that was to invade Rishi Sunak's house. Hello, Ariba. How are you doing? Thanks for having us. Was that your idea to invade
you weren't invited, first of all.
We weren't invited?
No, you weren't.
Oh, how ironic. Were you invited to Rishi Sunak's house this morning?
He's the Prime Minister of the country.
I'm just going to make myself a cup of tea, if that's all right. Who thinks Sunak's house invasion was a good idea? Anyone? What team do you guys work in? Are you press? Marketing? Who's the gigabrain that invented that idea today? And also, why don't you do it in China? Go to President Xi Jinping's house. Do you think you get the same reception? No? No answers. Nothing to say, just smirks. Just sullen smirks. You're paid 100 grand a year for ideas like that. Are you going to apologise for what you've done today?
What should I apologise for?
For turning up at not just the Prime Minister's house, a private man's home where he lives with his family. Doesn't matter.
If you let me speak,
does it?
then I will answer your
Speak.
question. Yeah.
Defend it.
Yeah, it was a peaceful protest, and the Prime Minister has allowed hundreds of new oil and gas licences.
So you think it's justified turning up to a man's private home where he lives with his family because he's approved oil and gas licences?
He wasn't there. That was a matter of national news. We checked before going. We made sure there was nobody there. It was planned with utmost care, with care for security. He wasn't there. We knocked on the door. First, there was no answer.
You knocked on the door, so he jumped on his roof. Is that right?
We knocked on the door to identify who we were.
Are you going to apologise?
No, I'm not going to apologise. We held him to account for a decision that he has backed, which is a disastrous decision.
Do you know what % of global emissions the UK is responsible for? You must do. You're paid 100k a year, so you must know.
I mean, it's around 1%, 2%.
All right, okay. So why aren't you going to China, to Xi Jinping's palace and doing this?
This is so good. The whole thing is brilliant. So that was to prove a point, because obviously I wouldn't do that. This is not really a normal practice in terms of journalism, but they were trying to prove a point, GB News, and they did. Firstly, they're saying he's the Prime Minister. You went to his private home. Just go protest outside Downing Street and everyone's fine with it. Protests are free and allowed in this country. You're literally breaking laws just to have your publicity stunt, and everything was prepared. It was a complete stunt, and they are surprised that when GB News go to their offices, they're like, but you weren't invited. Yes, you weren't invited to Rishi Sunak's home either. Anyway, let's talk about Greenpeace. Let's talk about these idiots, because they've been getting away with a lot of stuff over the years because they had good PR in the past, and a lot of people who just like the environment, and people who are not left wing or greeny, they used to support them. Like, oh, Greenpeace, yeah, they just want good environment. No, they don't. They're complete communists, and they are dodgy people. Firstly, in terms of the internal party structure, the Greenpeace, and it's very hierarchical, and we know this, undemocratic as an organization, which allows a very little control of its members over the campaigns an organization embarks upon. For example, the criticism the grant has given include Greenpeace has a strictly bureaucratic and borderline authoritarian internal structure. A small group of individuals have control over the organization in both international and local levels. So that's already a good start. Yeah, it's a very lovely place to work in, but I'm guessing the coffee is free if you work there. But in the past, this is from 2014. In June 2014, we had the report that Greenpeace somehow lost all the donations that they received. This is the most SNP story ever. They got all the donations from the supporters, and somehow they lost 3.8 million euros of these NGOs' donations in a risky financial transaction. The scandal could undermine public confidence in the environmental non-profit organizations. So they made a whoopsie, and they lost all that money, right? That was one time. Then we had another one. So yeah, obviously in the UK there was already reported in terms of the losses of the £3 million in currency speculation. They decided to basically get a little bit greedy and a little bit creative and thought, okay, let's play the currency markets. Let's do forex trading, I guess. And the money's gone now. So who's going to talk about that? Who's going to be talking about the accountability in these organizations? Also, Greenpeace once defended its top executive for flying to work. Flying from Luxembourg to Amsterdam apparently is a really tough one, obviously, but the Greenpeace UK's executive director decided to say, well, we're gonna ask everybody in Europe and everybody in the world to try to use nice and modern trains who are more green, obviously, but from Luxembourg to Amsterdam, that's not even that far. You can get a train. No. I need to get my flight. I need to get my plane. I can't. The plebs can get the trains, but I'm a top executive at Greenpeace. I can't sit next to the plebs on the train. I need my plane. So I'm going to fly. And the organization that we have, because it's already authoritarian, they're going to defend me. Oh yeah, on my behalf. Somehow they've been getting away with all these stories over the years. These articles came, they come and go every now and then. There's absolutely no accountability. And the mainstream media continue to give them platform on a regular basis because they are going out there pretending to be the grown-ups. So when Extinction Rebellion and all the others make a bit of a mess, Greenpeace step back and say, well, we are doing our own things. We're not really linked to these guys. Why is it that the people who give you money, they're the same people who give money to Greta Thunberg and Extinction Rebellion then? Interesting. You have the same ideas, but you're not the same organization. Fascinating stuff. Anyway, let's take a quick break. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.